NBS World-Class Cricket third and final 5-day test between South Africa and Australia is brought to you on Supersport by NBS.
Welcome to the highlights of the opening day's play of this test match, the final test of the 3-match series between Australia and South Africa. The South Africans lead 1-0. They played very well in Sydney. It was a very exciting game there. And in perfect conditions here today, Alan Border won the toss and decided Australia would bat. These were the teams announced by the two skippers at the toss. It was Border, Taylor, Slater, Boone, the two Wars, Healy, Rifle, Warren, McDermott, May, and McGrath is 12th man. Now, the South Africans have made some changes. They have Peter Kirsten in, so too Brian McMillan and Richard Snell, and out go Kepler Wessels, Pat Simcox, the off-spinner, and Craig Matthews. I'm surprised Simcox is out. Gary Kirsten will be doing the off-spinning for the South Africans, and he's taken just 14 first-class wickets, and he's played 58 matches. Conditions just about perfect out there in the centre when Taylor and Slater went out. We join play now in the second over. It's none for one. Bowling is Fani de Villiers. Mark Taylor has taken strike. Your commentators, Bill Laurie and Greg Chappell.
Well, that's bad luck. He took 10 wickets in the Sydney Test match, Fani de Villiers, and that doesn't do your confidence any good at all.
Dear, oh dear. You could easily do yourself an injury having that happen to you first ball of the day. It will not have done his confidence any good.
Down quite hard, Fani de Villiers. Good start by Taylor, gets a half volley, maybe a nervous half volley from Fani de Villiers, and it's a good shot. They should almost run 4 here. Hesitate, that's poor running. Know what they were doing in the end. No wicket for 5. Alan Donald to continue. Cathedral end. It's very strong, beautifully played. Not all that quick. A bit of grass cover there, but it finds the fence. It's a perfect cover drive. Nicely played. This square leg got to go all the way for 4. 8 runs off the over. No wicket for 23.
Richard Snell.
Richard Snell really does try to cut the ball a lot. And strangely, for a guy who's bowling leg cutters, every now and again he gets one to swing back into the left-hander quite sharply.
One pulled away and it will go to the boundary, will it? Oh no, he's dragged it back. That's well done. Nice timing down there. That's a very fast outfield. Matthews out on the ground, dragging that one back down at square leg.
Good chase there by Craig Matthews. Once again, the horizontal bat shot being employed there by Mark Taylor. And it appears that Alan Donald is off the field momentarily, and Matthews is substituting for him.
It's a wonderful start in the first hour. No wicket for 44, and it's been a very comfortable and confident start by Mark Taylor and Michael Slater. And it's going to be McMillan from the river end. Right arm medium pace.
That was going at a tremendous bat. He got that right off the middle. Just pick up 2 runs for it there.
Still plenty of room here. That's cut away. No ball call. That'll be 4. Beautifully played by Michael Slater. That brings up the 50 stand. That's a wonderful start for Australia in the first morning of the final test match. That's another one, maybe. The long boundary, if it doesn't go, they should run all 4 here. It's a long chase from mid-off. De Villiers are through for 3. And they'll come back easily for the 4th. They hit 2 fast runners. You could even squeezing an extra run there. It's a long hit down to long off. Beautiful off drive from Michael Slater. Alan Donald back on the field. That's good news for South Africa. They'll need to bowl a fiery spell here shortly.
Now, the scoreboard at the Adelaide Oval, the special scoreboard up there, it's got every little bit of information that you require. You can see there Slater with the light on next to his name is on strike, so that little light says that Slater's on strike. Macmillan can see there alongside the 4, there's a little red dot there. He's the bowler. And a little light comes on alongside the fielder as well that fields the ball. And so this one going down towards the fine leg boundary off the bat. So 4 runs, just slightly off line there.
Australia none for 77. And we're seeing a change in ends for Alan Donald. So obviously the captain feeling that perhaps the wind has changed around a little. And welcome to the crease, Alan. 54, Michael Slater.
I'll tell you what, that really is an aggressive shot, and Slater really getting his bat up there quickly, acknowledging the applause here, and wouldn't he be enjoying this? He's been left out of the side, all of a sudden back into the team now, and he is turning it on for the Aussies.
Oh, that's a bit too quick, and he's finished up caught at cover. Now the umpire has given him out. It's umpire Prue. Just not sure what happened there, because Slater reached for his helmet. I'm not sure whether he was trying to indicate to the umpire that it had come off the helmet.
Well, he always holds his hat when things happen. Now the question is, did he get an edge on that before did his crash helmet? And that was a very, very fast bouncer. It hit the bat, then onto the helmet and up in the air. So at last, from South Africa's point of view, they have struck. Slater out for 53, 6 fours in that knock. He was out there for 116 balls, and the score now 1 for 83.
David Boone, well, on this day in both 1991 and 1992, David Boone scored centuries in Test matches. The first one against England, the second one against India.
Meantime, this is Donald. That's very well played by Boone. He plays that one so beautifully off his toes. Flicked that one away behind square for 4.
That wasn't a bad delivery, actually. Alan Donald trying to get the Yorker in with the new batsman at the crease.
Yes. Well played too. He likes them there as well. Well, in this over so far, he's just played the 2 shots he likes most. Cut on the offside and the flick the leg. So he moves on to 8, 2 boundaries. Oh, he loves him there. Well played again. That one's with the sting taken out of it, so it may not get to the fence. Boone thinking about the 3rd here, and getting there. Just a little bit of indecision there.
NBS World-Class Cricket Test fever will continue. NBS World-Class Cricket Test fever now continues.
Taylor on strike, and we've had a change in the bowling as well. De Villiers taking over from Macmillan, and in the commentary box now it's going to be Bill Laurie, and with him is Ian Chappell.
De Villiers, Cathedral End. Mark Tower whips that through mid-wicket. Fieldsman dived, didn't get a hand to it. That's 4.
Very, very close. It was hit in the air, and Gary Kirsten had just been moved into that position by the captain. Valiant dive from Kirsten, but just out of his reach. You see there the bowler, as they so often do, with a bit of body language, trying to help the fielder in his dive.
Don't get carry, but it was went for 4, but it wasn't right off the meat of the bat. That's well struck. Taylor breaking loose here. That's a beautiful cover drive. Johnny Rhodes, the fieldsman, should get it. 2 more to Mark Taylor. In fact, they come back to the 3rd, and the throw is wide. Taylor just breaking the shackles in this over from De Villiers. 41 overs bowled, 1 for 109 in a great start by Mark Taylor, Michael Slater and David Boone on the first day of the final Test match. Snell going around the wicket to Mark Taylor. On probably a slow pitch. That's through the gap. That's the single, and that's 50 to Mark Taylor. Another 50, he's a run machine.
Well, 1
Richard Snell continues from the river end. David Boone cracks that beautifully off the back foot. That breaks the shackles for Boone. His third boundary, beautifully played just forward a point.
Third four for David Boone. And he's really struck a couple of very good shots in this area.
Boone's faced 49 balls. Only had a few scoring shots. 3 of them have been boundaries.
Barney de Villiers continuing from the scoreboard or cathedral end.
There's a good stroke from Mark Taylor. A long part of the ground. Give you an idea of how well he's timed it. Luckily for the fielder, it's run into the gutter. Otherwise, they'd have run 5 foreshore. It's 1 for 131.
Snell, the bowler from the River Torrens end. Snell sliding onto the pads of Boone. Doesn't have a lot of trouble with those. He's a very good player off his pads. A good player all around the wicket, really. He's looking quite comfortable out there. So that brings up the 50. Partnership between these two. 133 the total. Boone has 21 of those. Taylor's on 54. So a 74-minute 50-run partnership. Boone again. Pick up 2 more there. Just allowed the ball to run off the face of the bat. Try and hit it too hard. Just made sure he ran it into the gap.
Wasn't hit hard by David Boone. Just rolled his wrists on it there. In line with the pads. And it makes it very difficult for a bowler. It's 1 for 135.
Change of bowling at the cathedral end. The South African captain bringing himself into the attack. That's a bit better.
Once again, the fielder may cut that off just inside the boundary. If he's able to stop them taking 4, he's done well. And, in fact, he has done. That's a good chase.
Bit of frustration out there for the South African captain.
Not surprised, 1 for 140 after he called in correctly for the 3rd time on the trot. 2 limited overs internationals where Australia won. And now a match Australia has to win. And once again, when Alan Border flipped the coin up, 3rd time on the trot, Nancy Cronje gave it the wrong call.
It's a nice shot from David Boone. There'll be a bit more running to be done here. The Adelaide Oval straight boundaries make it hard work for the fielders and the batsmen. They should get 4 this time.
Well, they didn't do it by much. Only just got there. It's 1 for 144.
There's a change in bowling from the river end. Brian McMillan, who seems to be having a bit of trouble with his left knee, replacing Richard Snell, and replacing Richie and I in the commentary position, Tony and Bill.
Through where the Sips would have been. They've tried to get Boone in that region all day. 150 comes up with that edge, but there's only the 1 Sip and a gully in. Where that would have gone to the first not is debatable, but certainly it was a false stroke.
Yes, watch this one off the shoulder of the bat there and in the air, but that area not covered.
Gary Kirsten going around the wicket to Mark Taylor with his right arm off spin. Beats him in flight there from Gary Kirsten. Got him, that's a good change. Taylor beaten in flight. His first test wicket for Gary Kirsten, and what a great one for South Africa. Nice fight, slow delivery. Taylor down the pitch, bowled neck and crop.
Well, he could be getting some overs now. This is a vital breakthrough. Taylor just getting a little fidgety. Just let's see if we can pick a little bit of drift there. Taylor playing all around that one. He really was outside the line of that one. It drifted through there between bat and pad. and hit the stump. So Gary Kirsten striking for South Africa, bowling his off-spinners, and Mark Taylor on his way back now, out for 62. It's 2 for 152.
Mark Waugh, career average of 41.06, high score of 139. A wicket maiden. It's 2 for 152.
David Boone on 31 has been joined by Mark Waugh now, and Boone is on strike. McMillan the bowler. Oh, big appeal there for LBW, not out though. Let's have another look at that one. It couldn't have been far away. I think he perhaps just got himself outside the line.
Well, it was cutting back from off to leg. It was very, very close. He was just a fraction forward. He's pretty close to the umpire. Oh no, it was cutting too much. Great shot. It's 4 for David Boone. McMillan just giving him some width there. He's up to his 5th boundary. 4 of them have been in that region between backward point and forward of the point region. Oh, got him in trouble. That was a very good delivery. That did seem back a long way, and that struck Mark Waugh on the elbow. A very good delivery from McMillan.
Yes, he's a very relaxed character, but watch this, right on the point of the elbow. Back it comes, and there's no doubt that that'll be very, very sore. Now, he's a very casual customer. He won't show it much, but he tries to drop his elbow out of the way there, right on the end of the bone. And so Boone, quite rightly, going down the pitch to him and said, look, just take your time a little bit here, because if you can give yourself a little bit of time, it might be a little bit of a bit. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't got the guy to come out and give him some of that spray.
12 months ago, David Boone retired hurt on this pitch with exactly the same delivery, hit on the elbow. So a little bit of an unexpected bounce from McMillan there. Oh, and he cuts it, and he's gone! Yes, yes, he's gone! 3rd time. Well, that was a good piece of bowling. He hit Mark Waugh on the elbow. He gave him one with a bit of whip, and the man at gully made a meal of it, but finally on the 3rd grasp, held on to it, and the 3rd wicket's down for 159.
Yes, that really was hit very, very firmly, smashed away into the gully. Watch this ball bounce, and Snell is in there. He fumbles it once, fumbles it twice up against the chest, and boy, was he happy to clutch it against his tummy on that occasion. That's the 3rd time he got it. And so Mark Waugh, having been hit on the shot on the end of the elbow, then plays a very loose shot there, and Snell makes a good catch of the bowling of McMillan. Good bowling by him, and a vital wicket for South Africa. Mark Waugh out for 2, and Australia now 3 for 159.
NBS World-Class Cricket Test fever will continue. NBS World-Class Cricket Test fever now continues.
On board 153 test matches, which is a lot of cricket. High score 205, 10,000 runs, an average of 50.85. That was a very important dismissal for South Africa. Since Kirsten knocked over Mark Taylor for 62, they picked up 2 wickets for 7 runs.
Beautiful shot from David Boone. I think they've got to take the attack to Gary Kirsten, because he is flighting the ball a lot. I really do think that you've got to use your feet to that sort of stuff. David Boone there dealing with that one beautifully. 6.2 overs, 3 maidens.
Look at Olivia, and Boone gets some pat on that. What Kirsten's doing for his captain is resting the pacemen. Villiers, Snell and McMillan rested. Water charges and gets it down to long on. De Villiers dives, misses. And they'll pick up 3.
Timed pretty well there by Alan Border. I think Barney de Villiers fancied he had a chance of cutting that one off.
3 for 174. Alan Donald to bowl his 15th over. 14 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 41 from the river end. Border on strike. There's a shot. It's in the air. The man's coming around. It's going to fall in, is it? Oh dear, it was one of those ones. He sort of pulled out. It was a Snell. Probably not going to make it, but that was the bounce. It was good bowling, and fortunately for Border, it didn't carry. It was a good toss to win when you're going with 2 spinners, May and Warne. And Boone pulls this time. He pulls it nicely away. That should just about get there. Not off the meat of the bat, but it's 4 more. Boone's 7th boundary in his 46. Ball square of the wicket. It's gone again. I'm sure that's good bowling. It's a good shot. Brings up his 50. Down, he's gone, surely. Yes, he's fallen for it. Well, that's unusual, isn't it? He's bowled 3 in a row, and Boone went again with 2 men out, and de Villiers took a catch, and that could turn this test match right around. That was very courageous bowling by Donald. He dropped the short one in again, and Boone went for it.
Once again, the difference being that he just got the top edge, and it was more over off stump on that occasion. The previous 2 pull shots were at David Boone. Barney de Villiers, the fieldsman there, and a delighted Alan Donald. He'll give away 8 runs for a wicket any time, and especially when it's a top order player like David Boone, who is well set. It's 4 for 183.
Steve Waugh playing his first test match against South Africa, comes to the wicket. The fall of David Boone for 50.
Gary Kirsten will be continuing from the Cathedral end. That's a good shot. Steve Waugh just picking the gap there, but the mid-on fielder makes a meal of it. This makes a bit of a mess getting away to the right-hand side. It's a good shot by Alan Border. Timing perhaps not as perfect as he would have liked. He still picked the gap. There was some good sliding. I don't know that it was sensible sliding. Someone's hit the fence very hard. Jonty Rhodes, I think, and he stuck his foot under the advertising sign.
And that's the sort of thing Alan Border needs to do. He also needs to run very fast, because that's stopped as though he's played a good sand wedge into the green. And he's picked up just 2 runs.
That brings up the 200 for Australia. Alan Border has moved along to 14. Steve Waugh on to 10. Steve Waugh finds the gap this time. Jonty Rhodes, I think, will think twice about sliding into the boundary this time. The Australian flag is in the air.
Well, Richard Snell now is going to take up the attack. Well, he's got onto that one. Just over the top. It'll run away to the short boundary there for 4. So Border registering his first boundary, and his score moves up to 20.
This is where Hansi Cronje may have blundered by not bringing his pace bowlers back when David Boone was out, when both Border and Steve Waugh not got into double figures, because Border now is starting to pick the short one up and pulling it away nicely for 4.
And it looks as if now Alan Donald is going to take up the attack. They've taken the new ball. There it is.
Beautifully hit, but he's picked out Jonty Rhodes. Not so sure that Jonty's pleased that he picked him out.
I think that hurt. Jonty Rhodes has already had a broken hand on this tour so far.
He's in a lot of pain there. In fact, may have even been a little dizzy when he went to walk away, which suggests that look there, as though it may have bounced up and hit him right on the end of the thumb.
Well, the news from the South African dressing room was that it was only bad bruising, but it did look to me be slightly more serious than that. There were 12 more runs added to take the Australians along for 4 for 240 at the close of play. Borders there on 28 and Steve Waugh on 32. But they did lose those 3 quick wickets for just 8 runs before tea, and that was a real setback for the Australians. I had the feeling they were let off the hook by Gary Kirsten being allowed to continue bowling there. He finished up with quite good figures, 1 for 32 from 16 overs and 6 maidens, but I was certain there should have been 2 pacemen in there attacking both Border and Stephen Waugh. 2 for 61 for Donald, 1 for 52 for McMillan, and 1 for 32 for Kirsten. And it finished up just about even, I reckon, at the end of the day. But it could have been, in my opinion, so much worse for the Australians. For the moment, from the Adelaide Oval, it's goodbye.
The NBS World-Class Cricket third and final 5-day test between South Africa and Australia was brought to you on Supersport by NBS.